recommendation for Axon Enterprise, Inc. Kevin Frost, you have the floor.
Good evening, Madam Pro Tem, Mayor, Council members. Before you is a recommendation to upgrade our police interview rooms. We have 3 interview rooms at our police department. These interview rooms have mics and cameras in them for interviewing suspects or whoever needs to be recorded, so to speak. This system was installed when the police department was rehabbed and put together back just about 10 years ago. The cameras and the like need to be upgraded. And at this time, what we would like to do is get a purpose-built crime interview room recording system. What we did 10 years ago was not purpose-built for crime interview recording. And we prefer to have a crime interview recording system that is made for that purpose. So we've gone out. Axon has a crime interview room system. We have Axon products within our police law enforcement technology now, in our tasers and our body cameras are Axon. So we're looking to add the crime interview room system that will include replacement of the cameras, the microphone system, and the recording system. The recording system will be cloud-based. It will not be on site like it is now. It'll go to the cloud. And the best part is, the most important is, the police department will manage the system themselves without the need for IT to be involved, which is the best way to do this. The contract we're looking at right now is a 5-year contract. Total cost is going to be $71,527.02 over the 5 years. The initial year, the first year, is around $36,000. That is for all the hardware, installation, and the first year of the cloud service, maintenance, hardware support. The follow-on 4 years will be $9,000 a year, and that will go in the police operating budget. This is on the State of Maryland hardware contract, and we're recommending the council approve the purchase of the above technology to Axon Enterprise Incorporated for the State of Maryland contract price of $71,527.02. I'll take any questions, ma'am.
Council, you have any questions?
Yes, I got a question, madam. Director Frost, you said that it would be the police would not. The police will be. You said the police would manage the system without IT involved. Explain that.
Yeah. So the system itself, right now the recording system and the software and everything is on IT servers right now. So we manage those servers, which means that we have access to those servers. While we lock those down with special protection, if something were to happen down the road, somebody could say IT accessed that system. In this scenario, being that it's cloud-based, all IT needs to do is provide the access to the internet, and then the way the system is set up, we'll train, and the Axon will train our criminal investigators to operate the system. And if they need assistance and help, they will call Axon, and Axon will support them in doing whatever they need to do.
Thank you, sir. Makes sense now.
Councilman Les?
I'm fine.
Okay. Mayor, do you have any questions? Okay. If the council is in agreement, an award at the next mayor and city council meeting on Friday, June 14th at 6 p.m. Agenda item B, bid recommendation, PR utility body van. Rob Faree, you have the floor.
Yes, good evening. The Department of Public Works has put together a bid for a utility body for the Department of Parks and Recreation. The purchases of this transit van will not increase the fleet. It's a replacement. They came up in the CIP. We sent out several bid packages, and Academy Ford came back with exactly what is required at a cost of $43,520. So Public Works is recommending that the mayor and city council approve this purchase through Academy Ford for $43,520.
Councilman Les, you have any questions?
I'm fine.
Councilman Signal? Okay. If council is in agreement, we will award this at the next mayor and city council meeting that will be held on Friday, June 14th. Agenda item number C is an ordinance number 1944, text amendment number 254, an ordinance to amend the City of Laurel, Maryland Unified Land Development Code, Chapter 20, Article 1, Zoning, Division 1, Definition, Section 20-1.7, and Division 9, Exceptions and Supplements to Regulations, Section 20-20.5, Fences and walls to allow electric security fences in the industrial general and industrial commercial services zones of the City of Laurel, Maryland, and providing an effective date discussion. Mr. Love, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and members of council. The proposed text amendment 254 would permit electric security fences within the industrial general and industrial commercial services zones. Currently, code does not allow for electric fences to be constructed within the City of Laurel. An electric security fence would be defined as a fence intended to guard property against unauthorized entry and to protect stored goods and products from the theft and other unauthorized handling. The electric security fence shall not exceed 10 feet in height and shall be surrounded by a non-electric security fence that is at least 5 feet in height. The definition of electric security fence is set forth in Section 20-1.7. The electric security fence shall be permitted on the property in the industrial general and industrial commercial services zones. Prior to the issuance of the fence or electrical permit, an amended site landscape plan to include the location, height, design, and style of the fence shall be approved by the Planning Commission. An electric security fence shall not exceed 10 feet in height and shall be surrounded by a non-electrified fence that is at least 5 feet in height. The building line and yard requirements shall not apply to the electric security fence. The non-electric perimeter fence surrounding the electric security fence shall have a minimum of a 1 foot setback from the property line. A landscape buffer shall be installed around the non-electric fence. All electric security fences shall install an emergency access device, a Knox box, in the event that emergency services or the City of Laurel Police shall need to access the property. Warning signs in both English and Spanish shall be placed every 10 feet along the perimeter of the electric security fence and shall be maintained in good condition at all times. A fence permit shall be required for both the electrical security and non-electrical perimeter fence. An electrical permit shall be required for the electrical security fence, and the voltage shall not exceed 12 volts. Prior to the filing of the text amendment application, Electric Guard Dog, the applicant, met with the city staff multiple times and the council to explain the Electric Guard Dog's electric fences as well as to address any concerns. And they are present today to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Keith, do you have any questions?
Is 12 volts enough to hurt someone? Like if someone touched the fence, they get... Yeah. It will.
We were told by by the fire marshal that it could, even go up to as much as 20. We're putting a limit at 12, but 20 would still be safe for
So a person would get electric shock. When I ever get shocked, though, they wouldn't probably die from that by touching the fence.
That's my understanding.
It's the amp security, not the volts.
Okay. Okay.
You have any questions, Councilman Les?
I'm fine with this.
Okay.
Robert, and Madam President, if the applicant's here, they want to say anything. I think they met with most of the council over the past, I think it's almost been a year now, it seems like. But I think it's fair to say this is only going to be within the IG. Really, it's almost site-specific. There's not really much more IG. This is all part of, my memory serves me right, part of Homeland Security for what they need to do as well. And I appreciate them coming in and talking to the council. And I don't know if anybody wants to answer the question, if you're fine with that, Madam President. I don't plan on touching it, so you got to turn the green light on there. just name and address for the record.
Yeah, for the record, Dan Lynch of the law firm of McNamee Hosey here on behalf of Electric Guard Dog, and I have with me Cindy Williams.
Hi, Cindy Williams with Electric Guard Dog. To answer your question, I have to touch it about once a quarter, so it's definitely not harmful. But no, it is very, it's pulsed, so it's very, very, very safe, and it's studied and tested and by NERDLs and everything, so it's very safe. And it just does provide a quick snap, 1/10,000th of a second.
This is, there's an outer fence.
Yes,
I think it's important for people to know. An outer fence and then the guard dog
Right,
fence, which would be on the inside.
correct. So there is a non-electrified fence on the outside, and then we're, slightly inside of that. So innocent passersby don't come in contact with. The only people that come in contact with it are those that have with malintent.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that I understand security, and we don't want anybody breaking anybody's property. We don't want anybody to, have fences
It
up that's
cannot
going to
cause
death.
ventricular defibrillation, which is your heart.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, just so you understand, it's kind of a perception issue too, because the electric fence, I don't want to go near it. So it really helps.
Mm-hmm.
We don't advertise that it's safe. We advertise
Okay. Thank you. If the council is in agreement, introduction and first public hearing will be held at the next mayor and city council meeting on Friday, June 14th. Agenda item number D is ordinance number 1945, text amendment number 255, an ordinance to amend the City of Laurel, Maryland Unified Land Development Code, Chapter 20, Land Development and Subdivision, Article 1, Zoning, Division 1, Definitions, Section 20-1.7, Division 6, Parking and Loading Facilities, Section 20-16.10, Division 14, Design Guidelines for the Historic District Commission, Section 20-26.15, Driveways and Parking Pads, and providing an effective date action. Discussion minutes.
Thank you once again. The proposed text amendment 255 would amend the paving requirements for the parking areas and access driveways throughout the city within the Laurel Unified Land Development Code. The amendment would include a definition for impervious surface, which would be the following: a surface that includes but is not limited to concrete, asphalt, pavers, brick, and all paved and prepared drivable surfaces pursuant to Section 20-16.10 of the City of Laurel Unified Land Development Code. Impervious surface will be placing the list of acceptable materials and will be reviewed by ECD staff. The Historic District Commission will review surfaces brought before them as they do now. The main change is that the City of Laurel will no longer allow gravel as an acceptable surface for parking areas and access driveways if it is proposed to be installed after July 8, 2019. So if they have any existing gravel parking area or driveway, you may not make improvements of it with gravel after July 8, 2019. It must be an approved surface as stated in the code as approved by ECD staff. This is also true for those properties in the Historic District Commission. Thank you.
Does council have any questions?
Yeah, a couple.
Okay.
Robert, this pertains to the historic district, is that correct?
Yes, also.
Okay. I'll just point out, so everybody realizes this costs more. And the owners of those properties do not get a tax credit for the additional costs of maintaining homes in the historic district. Driveways, parking pads are specifically excluded. That's first. That's second part. And that's been the difficulty in talking to them about tin roofs and wooden windows and the whole thing. Now, the windows and the roofs, they get a credit. We have an example. Somebody just spent a lot of money on a roof on Main Street. A lot of money. Okay, so they'll get a tax credit. But for parking or a driveway, they don't get any credit. They pay their money. The second thing is the historic district has no way to force somebody to do something because there's no provision in the historic district regs for any kind of fines. And that's been a difficulty. Somebody does something, they don't tell the historic district, or they don't tell the city,
the best we can hope for is they'll go ahead and do some remediation, possibly, or something else. But there's no way to find them. If it meets the code, there's no way to find them. And the historic district does not provide for fines. So I'll just point that out. Not that I'm in disagreement with this, but we need to understand, as Mr. Boss said 40 years ago, he did not want Laurel's historic district to turn into Laurel, the historic Annapolis, where they actually color the brick, the texture of the brick, and so on. Larry, you're smiling. He's familiar with what I'm talking about, okay? And again, we ask the people in the historic district for their benefit to expend some extra funds, pay for those things. And you've heard me say I paid a lot of money for tin roofs on my porches. Well, now you can find people that will do it, but when I did it, there wasn't a lot of people doing it. So again, I think we need to be careful. Not that I disagree with this, just saying I would feel more comfortable if the whole city was subject to this. I'm going to be honest with you. But what we've done is we've now come around and said, okay, the historic district, you're going to pay the price. So I'll just point that out. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Signor, you have any questions? Okay. If council is in agreement, introduction and first public hearing will be at the next mayor and city council meeting that will be on June 14th. Agenda item.
Robert,
If you,
this pertains citywide.
yeah, no, this does pertain
This is citywide. Pertains not just to the historical district, but it's a citywide change and policy change that would occur. So
I need clarification if I could, Mr. Mayor. I thought it was just the historic district, the way I read the ordinances.
No, it's, if you look under
I apologize,
20-16.10, that is the citywide.
Okay, so this will be citywide,
Yes,
not just, thank you. That makes me feel better.
yeah. And then because it's under that 20-1610,
Yeah.
like any other, like a building permit, you need driveway permits. If you do not do it without getting approval, and you do that, you would be subject to the same fines anybody would if you were to
In the
build
historic district.
anywhere in the city.
I was going to say the thing, what happens there is just like on a couple of our commissions, they advise the staff advises the administration sends out an inspector.
Yeah.
And there's enforcement there. So I think the important piece of this is to really look at the dates, the timing, those things that you may want to adjust for some of the comments that Mr. Les had on money and things like that. But the other piece of this is that they're eligible through the county still for payback
County and
through the
state.
grant program, and that
County
would
and
be
state.
no, the county has their program, and that would be for citywide.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some there. Again, maybe the council wants to take the opportunity, to take a look at, do we want to try to create some kind of an incentive, through the tax credit process or others. But, those are things we'll have to look at as we move forward with some more of these, projects and, solar and all the other things we're trying to promote.
That's all right.
Let me just comment one point. It would be helpful when somebody comes in for the permit, if your department would tell them, here's what we know about the state and the county. But sometimes they don't know.
We can,
and I know, and again, it costs a few dollars more. So anything helps those people.
We need to have
Yeah.
sure. I think,
You're going to need that for everything. I mean, we promoted through Department of Communications big time the county's program that they had. So hopefully people, took part in that, noticed it. But again, as people come in and do other things, we should have, a packet together that says, if your driveway does this, here's the different programs that are available for you to help you out.
No, we can get with the permits office and get something that can be attached to everything that goes out. No, most definitely.
Thank you.
And I was going to say, Robert, take a good look at, because we do need to, before it's adopted, if the dates and all aren't ready, we need more time, then we should look at that too, Bill, on that to make sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for the clarification, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Next agenda item is resolution number 6-19, a resolution to set the polling places for the regular voting in the city of Laurel for the general election on Tuesday, November 5th, 2019. Kim Rao, you have the floor.
Madam President, the resolution before you sets the polling locations for the upcoming election. The Ward 1 polling location will again be here at the Laurel Municipal Center. The Ward 2 polling location will be at the Robert J. DePietro Community Center.
Any questions? Any questions, council?
Let me just, I have no objection to this. Just need to make sure that when they establish, call it the clear fire zone at the DePietro Center, we don't end up with the toll booth problem we had last time around, where some candidates stood in the roadway off of Cypress Street and stopped everybody going into the parking lot. I mean, I think that was not fair to the candidates in that ward. And I know that I've discussed that with Ms. Rao after the last election. Look, I mean, I've been in places where they vote in garages. Those are their polling places. And I don't think we'll get to that, but if we can increase the number of people voting, and it'll be good to look at the numbers post-election. I think the last time we looked at them, we didn't see that increase we thought we'd get. Okay, so again, that's just my comment.
Thank you. This is scheduled for public hearing at the next mayor and city council meeting that will be Friday, June 14th at 6 p.m. Next agenda item is
Councilwoman, please.
Oh,
I
sorry.
do have one comment I'd like to make regarding this agenda item. I apologize for being late, but I was tied up with my employer. On this agenda item, I had previously asked for a fiscal note just to get a sense of what the additional costs, if any, might be for staffing, a second polling place, as well as machines, et cetera, and any other costs that may be associated with it. So I'd hope that we could get that bit of information before we actually, bring this to a vote.
Okay. Next agenda item is resolution number 7-19, a resolution to set the polling place, date, and time for early voting in the city of Laurel for the general election on Tuesday, November 5th. Kim, you have the floor.
Madam President, the resolution before you sets the date and time and location for early voting here in the city of Laurel. The early voting center is designated to be at the Laurel Municipal Center, and the early voting day will be Saturday, November the 2nd, 2019, from 8 a.m. until 5 o'clock p.m.
Does council have any questions?
Yes, Madam President, I have a question. Correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Ms. Raw. He's informed me that every time that we had early voting, it was always held at the Laurel Municipal Center. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. That's correct, Mr. Sidnor.
Okay. So I recommend that that we move it to Robert DePietro Center this year, November 2nd, 2019, same time. I think it's only fair. We had it every time we had early voting, always been in Ward 1. So the city had 2 polling places for the general election. So, that's why I recommend that we just change the location this year to the Robert DePietro Center. That's all I have, Madam President.
Any discussion? If there's nothing else to come before the council, this meeting is adjourned.
Hey, Mike,